Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be how to make Corey's green alkaline smoothie. Well, I've mentioned this a few times on previous videos. This was a smoothie recipe that I wanted to share with you guys today. Welcome to my kitchen, by the way. So what I'm going to be using today is, this is the Vitamix 5200. You can get these on Amazon, Whole Foods, pretty much they're available all over the world. It's pretty much one of the best blenders that you can get in the world. It's got a lot of high power in it. And so what I like about this smoothie is, I mean, let's face it, I'm lazy. I like to take, in every area of my life, I want things to be easy and as little work as possible. And so when it comes to eating healthy, I mean, you don't want to sit and, like I talked about in the video I did a few years ago, how to make Corey's green juice. It's like you don't want to spend all your time juicing vegetables and preparing meals or eating salads every day. And so obviously if you're into juicing vegetables, maybe the recipe that I've shared in how to make Corey's green juice, this smoothie recipe gives you things like spinach that obviously you don't get in the juice. Plus it's got broccoli. So to maintain, and what I think is great about all this stuff, and just like anything else that I teach, even if you don't believe what I say, just drink one of these smoothies a day. And what this is gonna make is about four glasses worth of these. You'll be able to put some plastic wrap, keep it in the fridge. So usually when I make these, I'll have one that night. This is usually what I like to have in the evenings, unless I'm going out to dinner or something. Well, I have one of these at night, and then I have some of the nut mix that I've talked about. And this recipe will also be in my upcoming second edition of my book, because there's going to be a pretty large section on health and things, because if you've been following me for a while, you know that I used to have a lot of health problems when I was a kid. A lot of problems with allergies and hay fever and skin rashes. I'm talking about the kind of skin rashes that would fester, like I'd literally have for years. My mother would be like, "Oh, go put some calamine lotion on it, it'll be fine." She would never take us to the doctor. So this is just one of the things, and I have these every day. And if you drink one of these, if you just do this for 30 days, if you drink one of these smoothies a day, you'll be amazed. It'll open your nasal passages up within 20 to 30 minutes of drinking. Obviously, you should check with your doctor before you anytime you do anything with health, diet, or exercise. Little disclaimer there. But what I like about this is you get a lot of greens, really compact, and obviously I got some nice things. I got some strawberries and stuff. So I'm going to basically take you through how I make this smoothie. So obviously this is the blender body. I wanted to just so you could see what it looks like, but I'll move it over here when I get ready to blend it. But I mean, this thing is loud as hell. It sounds like a fucking jet engine when you turn it on. So first thing that I do is I put vanilla extract, and because I've done this so many times over the years, I've made this recipe probably thousands of times. So what I do is, it's 2 heaping tablespoons, and I can do this by eyesight at this point. And so that one was just about empty, so I get a nice, fresh, brand new one here. And then on top of the vanilla extract, I put cinnamon, again, same thing, 2 heaping tablespoons worth. But like I said, I do it by eyeball just because I've been doing this so long. Sometimes you gotta shake it to get it out. So that's like the first stuff that I put in there in the bottom of the blender. And then these are dates. These are medjool, M-E-D-J-O-O-L. You can get these again at Whole Foods. Now these have a pit in them that is fucking hard as a rock. And I remember when I first started using dates and playing around with smoothies, first time I made it, I just threw it in there with a pit because I didn't know any better. Because you can throw an avocado in one of these things, and actually the big seed that's in the avocado, it'll blend it right up because the seed tends to be soft. But the seeds in these things are hard as a rock, and all it'll do is chip it, and it's like little pieces of plastic. So you can buy these pitted with, in other words, they don't have the pits. They tend to be a little smaller that way. Or these, I buy them, they have the pit in them, and you can just kind of tear them in half and pull the pit out. So I put 5 of these large medjool dates in there. And sometimes you'll get them to be really small. You might have to put 6 or 7 of them in there, but 5 of the large ones is what I put in there. And strawberries, sometimes you get the really big strawberries. I only put about 6 really large strawberries, or maybe 8 to 10 if you're just getting these little, you know, puny tiny ones. So put strawberries in next, and then I put in, like I said, it's like 10, or I say 12 to 15 of these cherry tomatoes. Again, sometimes these are a little bigger, sometimes they're a little smaller. Like I said, I think there's like 13 or 14 of them in there. And then so the next thing that I'm going to put in there is going to be an apple, and this is a Fiji apple. You want to cut the core out of it, obviously. So I split it up, divide it into 8 pieces. They have one of those little utensils that you can get that'll cut the core out of it, but I don't have one of those, as you can see. So there's just a few of these. You got to cut the seeds out. You got those, and so I tend to shake it up a little bit. Now I also put alkaline water in these, and I get these Essentia ones. These are like 9.5 pH, and my place in Orlando, I have one of these Vitamixes up there, but it's all cloudy, and it's just from the, because like if you use ionized water where it puts the electrical charge on it, what's interesting is that it causes the calcium, because it puts an electrical charge on it, to stick to the walls, so it makes it cloudy. So I use this kind, and I tend to do it by eyeball. These are 33.8 fluid ounces, and so I just kind of pour it by sight, because you need water with all the vegetables and stuff in here, because otherwise it's too thick to blend. So I kind of do this by eyeball, and that's up to, let's see, that's about the 30-ounce line on the blender. And I put those in there, and then so the next thing is I use 2 5-ounce tubs of spinach. Spinach is kind of a pain in the ass to blend it up in here. So what I often like to do is take it, kind of squeeze it together a little bit, crush it down. Because otherwise, if you pack it in there, you'll see in a minute, it doesn't blend real great. It's kind of a pain. Like I said, you drink these, it's like, I mean, it's a paradigm shift. When I started learning about an alkaline-based diet, you know, Tom Brady, Giselle, they've got a chef that does the alkaline-based diet, and it's like, I mean, the beauty of this stuff is that you just got to try it. If you try it for 30 days, you'll see how it makes you feel. You feel it in the softness of your skin. I mean, it's really amazing. So it's about to get really noisy in here, and I'm just going to keep running the video the whole way through, so you get to enjoy the noise along with me. But you get to see how it usually takes, start to finish, when I make these, it usually takes me about 15 minutes to make it. Obviously, I'm trying to film this and do things for the camera, so it might take a little longer. But like I said, it sounds like a fucking jet engine. I just put it up on high as fast as it will go. Sometimes you gotta kind of toggle it to get it to go down. So I put the second one in there. Same thing, you want to squeeze it together as much as you can. And this is a lot of spinach, and the whole idea behind it is I want to get as many greens and as much alkalinity in this as possible, because what you get from the alkalinity, the greens, is you get all of the minerals and vitamins that your body needs to keep the pH steady. And if you're deficient in it, especially as you age, it starts leaching it out of your bones and your teeth. Bones get brittle, things of that nature. Bad way to go. So just move these out of the way. I feel like one of those, was it Chef? When I was growing up, there was like a Chef Tell. He was on, and then there was the old English lady. I can't remember her name, but she was on all the time. I used to watch those occasionally. I'm not a big fan of cooking, as you can see. I like to eat out, order out, and then when it comes to healthy stuff, these are the things that I do. So you gotta toggle it a few times until it blends up. And then what I also use is a green pepper. The way I like this, I already did this ahead of time. I took the core out, but I like to cut the top off, because then it cuts this part off, and then you just push it through, pull the guts out of it. I split it into quarters. Makes it easy to drop in here. So I get a large cucumber. Sometimes the cucumbers are real small. You'd use 2. This is, I say, a large to a medium-sized cucumber. I'm going to split it in quarters. And then the next thing that I put in is the broccoli. So you get it you usually get at least at Whole Foods, there's usually 2 of these tied together in a big bundle. So I just cut the stalks off. Makes it easy to stick it in the blender. This part I just kind of discard. So since I'm sticking this to the top, I'm going to cut these a little smaller because they don't fit in the hole at the top of it. And then the last thing I'm going to put in is the celery. And what I've come to do is I literally fill it almost like right to the top here. So you'll see like these glass sizes that I use, it'll fill up, the last one will be about 1 inch or 2 from the top. And that's usually the one I drink during the day. Because the idea is when I put the plastic wrap over it, this stuff is great. I get this from Amazon. It's kind of hard to find because like regular saran wrap, it's just not sticky enough. And the stuff comes off. So I just feed it all in here. But broccoli is great because it's really high in nutrients that your body needs. And like I said, the beauty of eating healthy and eating the right healthy foods, it's how it makes you feel. And that's, you can't argue with that. Because I'm always about what's peak performance, what is the best that you can get in every area of your life. And like I said, I've been playing with this. I first found out about an alkaline-based diet back in 2002. So this is 2017. So we're literally 15 years that I've been experimenting with this. And like I said, the beauty of eating these kinds of foods, you feel it in your nose, you feel it in your skin, you feel it in you see it in your eyes. Then last but not least, so you can't see it here on camera, but it's about 1 inch from the top. So I split these in half. And I already cleaned these celery. These are kind of larger celery. Usually 6 large stalks of celery is what it takes to fill it all the way up. Sometimes only 3 or 4. It just depends because the size of your cucumbers are never the same exact size. Same thing with strawberries and everything else. That might just do it. So I might end up getting 4 in there. Sometimes you want to stick this over the top. Otherwise the shit will go flying everywhere, shooting out the top. So after you blend it up, there's a little bit of air in there, escapes. So I can get 1 more in there. So the idea is to blend it up so it's like really smooth. The other important thing is to put some downward pressure because these are just rubber. And when I didn't know any better, I first got one of these, I just kind of let it go. And if you're filling the stuff up to the top, it's gonna, this top comes off. It's like, this shit's going everywhere. And these are green, so you notice I got a black shirt on when I'm doing this. When anytime you're juicing vegetables and stuff, you always want to wear dark clothes because otherwise you get the greens on it, it's like going to slide in the grass. You ever had that problem? Those stains are usually pretty hard to get out. And just from the centripetal force, it wants to turn the top. That's why I was holding on to it. So last but not least, fill them up in the glasses. Just kind of loosen this up a little bit. With the top coming all the way off. The idea is not to splash it everywhere, which I'm getting here. I just want to show you one last thing that I do here, and then I'll end the video. If I fill it close to the top here, normally I do this over the sink, but obviously I'm trying to film it. So, like I said, what I really like about this is the best clingy wrap that I found. Clingy can be good, obviously not when it comes to dating relationships, but when it comes to the plastic wrap, it's great to have clingy plastic wrap. You can even put a rubber band around it, but the idea is that it's right to the top, so there's hardly any air. And so what you'll notice is, like I put these in the fridge, is that as I sit in there, down at the bottom you'll see a bunch of water. And so what I tend to do is, you want to hold the wrap and you want to spin it like this and mix it up before you drink it. And you're going to put a nice jumbo straw in there. These are great. I get these on Amazon. These are made by a company called Kizmos, K-I-Z-M-O-S. These are like milkshake straws, so they're extra large and they're hard and they're plastic, so you can use it to stir. So if you use a regular straw, it's just kind of suck through, and then you try to use it as like a stir, and the fucking straw just breaks, and it's no fun when you break the straw. And then one last thing that I want to mention, I'll talk more about this in my next book. Two books I definitely highly recommend. In addition to Dr. Young's books, The pH Miracle and Sick and Tired, Reclaim Your Inner Terrain, Dr. Young is a microbiologist. He's basically a glorified lab geek. But Dr. Gundry is a very famous cardiologist. He's a medical doctor, and these are really two great books. The Plant Paradox and Dr. Gundry's Diet Evolution. And so he's worked with people that came into his office, they're like literally weeks away from dropping dead, people that they're fit, really in great shape, but they weren't healthy because of their diet. And through helping them change their diet, they were able to maintain their physique, but clear out all their arteries and their cholesterol and stuff, and get to the point where they're really healthy. So Dr. Young's books are great, but again, he's not a medical doctor, he's a lab geek. But what's nice about the alkaline diet is that it's pretty much gone mainstream. And like I said earlier in the video, you've got people like Tom Brady and his wife Giselle that have a personal chef, and 80% of what they eat is greens and alkaline and organic. So the philosophy behind this is that, and you saw what I put in here, is that 80% of your plate should be the greens. And if it's not, if you're going to go, like today for lunch, the restaurant on our property had this really great pasta dish. So I had that. I noticed my nasal passage just constricted a little bit after I ate that. Came back, I had a green juice, poured one of those, my nasal passages opened right up. So highly recommend those books. Definitely recommend Dr. Gundry's books. And like I said, try it. Just do it for 30 days. You don't need to go out, because these blenders can, depending on the one you get, these are like $300 to $500 for these. You can use a $15, $20 blender. They tend to be not as big as this, so you're gonna have to play around with the recipe. But obviously the article that has all the ingredients will be on my website, and plus underneath the video I'll have it. So one last thing, the 33.8, you can tell it's maybe about a third of the bottle is used, so probably 11 ounces of water is what it took to get up to the middle here for water. But like I said, if you do it for just 30 days, you will feel a difference. You'll feel it in your skin, you'll feel it in your nasal passages, and like I said, your body needs these greens. It needs the vitamins, it needs the nutrients and the minerals to buffer the acid, especially like like today, like I said, I had pasta for lunch, but I balanced it out by having a big, a glass of this size of green juice, which remember, that's like 50% green juice, 50% water. And like I said, I'll have 2 to 4 of those a day, depending on what I eat. And then, like I said, usually later in the day, around 6, 7 o'clock at night, this is what I'll have for dinner, unless I'm going out for dinner or something like that. But other than that, if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen on any page, and book whichever coaching option works for you. And I will talk to you soon.